Hey, what's up guys? Jukem is here in the house, ready to talk about more Pokkén Tournament DX for Nintendo Switch system. This time I want to actually talk about Pokken's counterattacks because I've seen sometimes a few complaints about the counterattack system, and I actually want to go over about those. I want to go over those complaints and really just talk about the counterattacks in general. So, let me get to here. So I guess for like a basic rundown of what counterattacks are for like the whole two people who are watching a Pokken video without knowing that they are. No offense to those people at all, obviously. Basically, counterattacks are a system in the game where, well, the normal ones are you hold down the strong attack and the Pokemon attack buttons, so usually just X and A for the Pokken controller, right here. And you go into a counter state. You absorb attacks. Some attacks can pierce, so they go through those. And when your attack comes out, you're left wide open a little bit. But you can also charge it up to make it stronger and have different effects. Like, for example, Subtiles right here normally rolls them back. But if you do this Holy Charge, it launches them into the air and you can combo right after it. Certain attacks can also crit if the opponent is attacking them because it's part of Pokken's attack triangle. Counterattacks beat attacks, so usually the uncharged attack for Subtiles would just make them roll back. But if it's on crit for the uncharged, it knocks them down if you set up something like that. Of course, this means they have to attack. So this is a bit different from like other types of counterattack systems in other games. Like, a biggest example I see people compare it to is the focus attacks from Street Fighter 4. There's a few differences between the two. For one, in Street Fighter 4 you do take damage, and I think it only absorbs one hit. I think there's a variation where you can absorb multiple hits, but you still take the damage, and you can't recover it back, but you still take it. In this game, let me get this real quick. Attack. You just absorb the... Thanks, Lucario. You just absorb the hit. This is perfectly timed. Yeah, you just absorb the hit, and if you do that, then knock him down, obviously. That's what it looks like normally. Now, the problem with these attacks that I do see, that I do agree with, is that it really depends on the attack on who it's attached to and how good their dashes are, because another trait that these moves have is that you can cancel it with a dash. This is where it mostly happens, where it's shortened for CADC, counterattack dash cancel. And during a dash, any dash, you can go into your A moves faster, as opposed to something like this, where you complete the dash as an attack, for comparison. But you can also go into a counter. Now, what makes this really good, you say? Well, on characters like Subtile, who has like the fastest forward dash in the game, he could do this. And while you are vulnerable during the dash, it's still super quick, and in Field Phase, I think it's even faster. No, I think it's around the same. For some reason, I thought it was faster in Field Phase. But for someone like Subtile, who has... By the way, this is one of the best counterattacks in the game. Because this is a mid, not a mid-low, so it's very... You can't jump it. It goes into a full combo, where you can side swap. This is just an example of one of the good ones. I want to make another video actually talking about the broken ones, but yeah, basically this is one of the best in the game. Now, why I picked Subtile in particular for this video, besides just the fact that he's my main, is that there's other types of counters in this game too. You have like command counters, or what I like to call them, where certain A moves or certain other attacks that have counter armor on them that aren't the normal counter attack. What makes these moves different is that you can't cancel them normally, but some of them can be pretty busted. Like, I'll go over, but like certain counterattacks are just really good. I forgot to mention, but also DPs in this game are also considered to be counterattacks. So like, this is also why I picked Lucario, because he has a DP. It's punchable on block. This is fine, obviously. The DPs are fine. It's mostly stuff like this. This is the most notable thing in the game for like command counters. Detect and Weavile's Taunt, which here, wait a sec. But yeah, Weavile's Taunt also really good. Now, the reason I bring these up, like I said, I'm not going to talk about them in depth. But the problem with these, one part of them, is that counter armor gives you frame 1 invincibility. Now, I feel like for these moves, yes, they definitely should not be frame 1 invincible. But the reason I bring this up is because people also attach that to for the normal counterattack. Now, I'm not sure if it should or should not be. This is a topic of discussion that is very interesting, I feel. Especially since you can't do this. In my opinion, if you are going to nerf counterattacks in this game, because the counterattacks are really safe, especially with counter CADC. Okay, not as fast as Subtiles, but you understand. Another big problem is Libra. I should have brought Libra in here too. With Libra, look at this. Libre's is literally a tool that can be used in neutral because hers goes that far, and unlike Sceptile's, which is only a knockdown, which is still really good, on crit for hers, it's a full combo. So that's some things certain counterattacks have, is that even when it's not fully charged, it can go into a full combo. Some counterattacks, like Charizards and Blastoises, can never be a full combo unless there's like a weird wall splat, which rarely happens. But for the most part, you use these moves to beat out normal attacks, and for certain characters it's really dumb, which is one of the things that makes me think I think it's fine to have a counterattack use frame 1, is just that you have to nerf counterattacks like Libres and Sceptiles, and also for stupid ones like Detect and Taunt for Sceptile and Weavile respectively, make sure they're not frame 1. So like the command counters don't make frame 1 unless it's like certain ones. Blastoise has a command grab, which can get counter armor if he has a buff on him, but it's kind of slow, so I feel like it being frame 1 would be beneficial for Blastoise, and I think that's very cool if you could have. Or stuff like Detect, which literally makes him swing out of the way on hit or not on hit. Like he could just choose to not swing when he doesn't get hit. He'll do an auto swing when he does get hit, but yeah, that's one of the things I would nerf about that. Like, there's no reason this move should be going this far and also be a combo starter. It's literally just like one of your normal tools. Like, that's not like a counterattack. Like, you could be like, oh, this is my 2x or something like that. Here's my 6y or whatever. Yeah, definitely tools like this are very notable for characters like Libre and Sceptile, and why a lot of people kind of like, oh my gosh, this move is so stupid. And rightfully so. People are not complaining about it for bad reasons. It's not because they're not getting good or whatever. It's because these moves are actually pretty kind of toxic a bit, and why a lot of people do not like the counterattack system in this game. Or at least they don't like it, but there's a problem with it because of it. Another solution I thought of is, so remember how I mentioned that this can be canceled into another one? My thought is it should be like another move if you are going to if you are going to counter attack dash cancel. You should only be able to do it after the end of this, so it's like a break in between. And for some characters, that might screw them a bit because characters like Empoleon have a very slow dash, but I feel like that's still fair because Empoleon gets a lot of reward off of his counterattack. Not all characters are treated equal, but like that's how you like all around just balance them so it's like equal in that way. So each counterattack is still useful, but you can't just be busted just by being able to do this and then you fully charge it or whatever and just get a free move off because your opponent doesn't know when you're gonna stop holding counterattack. Oh, I forgot to mention the character who's most notable for this. Oh goodness, this is the most notable character in the game with a CADC because he could do. I don't know how to do it. There's like a way you can do it like easier, but like Scizor's can move around and he kind of skates. I don't know how to do it perfectly. If you want to see like how to do it really good, I suggest watching Tech. Scizor is really good at abusing the counter frames, but that just makes it a huge guess at when you're gonna be able to attack. Because if he's doing it really quick, I'm very bad at doing it. I don't know if I have to press Y there. But if you're really quick about it, then your dash is super slow, and then you can just keep CADCing over and over again. You have more counter frames than you do active frames of being able to get hit. And the reason for this, especially for Scizor, is that he already has a really good CA. Like, fully charged, it goes this far. And he can move. Another thing I forgot to mention for counterattacks is that you can use it to absorb projectiles and then go in a bit. Not just Scizor, just like a dash cancel afterwards. So that's a really good thing, and then you can obviously keep abusing that. So that kind of like makes zoners who don't have a lot of piercing projectiles, like Chandelure, kind of like have a hard time. I mean, sometimes it really depends. Some projectiles have multi-hits, so like it's they counterattack a lot later than normal. But I feel like to mitigate that problem a bit, it would be fair to like Scizor could only like do this. Yeah, Scizor should only be able to do something like that. Like, I feel like that would be a very good way of, like, mitigating the problem of CADC. Because I feel like it's still fair to have, like, not make it a full commitment, but, like, you could use it as a way to get in. Because that's still a cool concept of being able to absorb damage. One minor thing I forgot to mention while on the topic of absorbing damage is that you do gain synergy for every attack you gain. Like that. And when you get crit, you get a big boost in synergy, too. So that's basically all the basics from counterattack, and why it's really good when you could just keep dash canceling it, because you keep absorbing attacks and gaining meter. It's mostly a select few characters that people do complain about, and that's why I do want to make a separate video about it. But it's still part of the system, and that's why I want to talk about the entire system in general. Alright, so now another way you can nerf these attacks is, I've found that like being able to get a crit off of your uncharged version of the attack seems kind of bonkers. Maybe the fully charged only on crit would be fair. Maybe the fully charged by itself would be fair because you do have to wait a while. But uncharged in any circumstance should not be comboing. That or have more counterattacks don't combo in general and do a knockdown, which is still pretty good. So like this being a knockdown tool only instead of being able to combo off of it would be really fair, I feel. because you still get a lot of damage off of it just from that. Like, on crit, let me see what you get on crit here. Getting 90 damage and some meter, and also knocking them down, it's pretty decent, especially since for someone like Scissor you could set up with, these swords. I just noticed how bouncy the swords are in the back. Oh my god. The reason why I'm always kind of hesitant is that there are a select few counterattacks that aren't that good, but have a great amount of reward. For these counterattacks, I don't know if I would change at all, because for someone like Empoleon, this one doesn't knock them down. Oh, wait, sorry, on crit. This one doesn't knock them down. This one does knock them down. But on crit, this does knock them down. So I feel like this is a fair one, because especially for someone like Empoleon, he gets a lot of reward off of it from being able to do slides and other stuff. He gets a lot of damage off of it. Like, I guess just look at this combo, I guess. And he also gets a lot of stage control too. So for someone like Empoleon, if you made some characters have who have a very slow counterattack that can be easily dodged, because this is very slow, and someone can just easily jump it, or just like attack as soon as it comes out, or grab. Also attached to a character with slow dashes. Like I'm trying to see ADC right now. That's just how slow he is. It's how normal it should be for other characters. I mean, this one's kind of fast, I guess. But still, like, it leaves him very wide open for a bit, which is fair, because that's just called balancing. Okay, for someone like Sceptile, just as a basis to, like, kind of, like, summarize all that I mean, this should not be like this. This should be, like, right here. You should have an opening like that, and it's still a pretty quick dash, so you can do other stuff out of it. Like, you would still be able to do your A moves, and Sceptile would still be able to cancel into another CA move, like, Detect or Leaf Blade, but just not, like, being able to be freely safe, because for the other moves, I guess technically Detect is a little more, like, committable than this. But especially for Leaf Blade, which leaves them open and is punishable on block if you're kind of close. So, like, if you miss space and they block right here, then they're going to be able to punish you. Definitely should not be able to just do this and go through the entire stage just trying to avoid all the character's projectiles or neutral tools. It's just very, very unfair and honestly very toxic. When it comes to, like, some counter moves should not be frame one. Say this one shouldn't be, but I feel like this one would be fair. Like I said, it's technically reactable because it, like, glows blue and you'd be able to, like, see it coming. And some characters can even, like, if you counter and then dash, you'd be able to attack. Even without being able to, like, go in like this. He's got a lot of counters, which is, like, a really good reason why I'm using him. I'm totally not biased in my reason for choosing him. Nope, not at all. Some minor nerfs I also heard that you could do with counterattacks is make the window a bit bigger, but I don't know how that would work because the reason for these existing is to absorb attacks. So if it's just very consistent for you to be able to beat them out, I don't see that much use of using these moves then. I mean, I guess if it's a very brief attack, then it's fine. But, like, a lot of characters have ways to do multi-hits back to back to back, so if, like, you just had, like, usually counterattacks are really good when you're waking up, just so you can, like, guess if your opponent's going to try to do an attack Oki. And Lucario has a really good Oki tool like this. And if he sees you counterattack, he could do something like this, or Bone Rush, to beat it out, because of all it hits. But if it's, like, more, it's not entirely consistent for Lucario. I mean, it's one of the more consistent ones, I will say. It is one of the more consistent ones. But if there's, like, every character has something like this, then it's, like, I feel like counterattacks are meant to be for something like trying to get on Wake Up, trying to avoid damage on Wake Up without having to block so you can take your advantage back. So I guess it really depends on viewpoint. I honestly feel like, I guess it could be fine if it had a bigger window, but I don't think it needs to have a bigger window. You could also make them gain less meter on crit, but I feel like that's part of the crit system and not actually the CAs itself. You could also make them do maybe less damage if you are going to make a lot of them combo. They do have quite a bit of scaling though, I will admit. So I guess it's at least balanced in that way, but, like, a lot of them just get you so much advantage, and I'm failing this combo, I apologize. But some of them just get you so much damage, like this is still decent damage from getting a counterattack, especially as one is, like, non-committable as, like, Sceptiles. And he can get a defense debuff. You just saw right there, I was using a move to get a defense debuff. So other characters have other ways of getting advantage. Some characters can set up their, like, special unique abilities, like Scissors Sword Stance, or you can get debuffs on them, or just, like, set up with Sceptiles traps. Like, even the crit rate here gets me so much advantage from being able to set up traps very easily. So all around, I feel like the nerfs that either need to happen, not all at once maybe, but maybe only some, would be, like, being able to do this. I feel like, actually, yeah, this one's definitely one that has to happen, is not being able to cancel into another one. Like, you guys can really hear the mashing on my controller. This is how easy it is. Then this is obviously just one input. I can swing or I cannot swing if I don't get hit. But if I get hit, then it's just like, haha, now I attack you. Because this isn't like a DP. I feel like DPs are fine being frame 1 invincible, because it's very committable and you get punished on block. You do get a knockdown too, which is really good. But you not really can combo off of it, unless it's like this. Which in which case you kind of deserve taking that much damage. One other CA I wanted to mention is that some supports do get CA armor. I feel like this being frame 1 is totally fair, since a lot of counterattack, a lot of supports that attack like this can get punished on by a grab if they on reaction to them being summoned, so it's kind of committable. It doesn't crit them. It never supports never crit, so I think it's very fair for them to be frame 1 for supports that are like this. So like Mimikyu, Snivy, I forget the others. I think Magneton, I guess. But no one likes Magneton anyway, so who cares? All around is a very cool system in the game that just has a few flaws in it, but it's just that those flaws are kind of a big thing. It's not enough to make the game not fun, obviously, but it's just like against certain characters like this, it's kind of, yeah, very oppressive to deal with. Especially if you're a character who struggles in the matchup already, like, I guess like Sceptile would like trying to dominate Gardevoir, and you can just go through all her projectiles, and you'd be like, hi, you shot other projectiles? Eat this now. So yeah, in summary, if I can remember this correctly, is make this worse. I forgot the rest. Also, also make sure this doesn't happen. Make sure these can't combo as easily, only for certain characters. Make these command counters not be able to be frame 1. They're also this good. Unless it's like something very committable like this or a DP. Definitely fair to have those characters who are very slow with their dashes and counterattacks be able to combo off of it, even if it's like not uncharged. But definitely characters like this should not be able to freaking combo off of them. Like I feel like Sceptile should just be like, honestly the fully charge should be like this. For a lot of, and it's not just for Sceptile, this goes for a lot of characters who have really good counterattacks like Libres or Scizors. Yeah, but that's just how I generally feel about this. I do want to thank people on Twitter because I did ask like, hey, what do you guys think about the counterattack system, and what do you think if it needs any changes? And I already had some ideas. Like I definitely thought of like counterattack being like, oh wow, this is really stupid because I literally main this character. But definitely it helps me a lot understand what you guys think, especially with the CADCs being like, or having moves that aren't frame 1, like this is really stupid also. They just make a lot of things really safe in this game. And while you can read them, sometimes it's just very hard to be committable, because like you definitely, if you're going to be able to try to stuff them out with attacks, you want to do it either here or during the dash. But with characters who have very fast ones, it's very, like, this is a very quick attack. It's very hard to be able to react to the situation, even when you fully charge, because you're scared. If you have no fear, you could probably do it, or you could try to jump, but for Sceptile you can't really jump because it hits that high. And while you can jump some other really good counters, like Libres, they're still really quick and go pretty far. So you can stuff them out, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, where you can stuff them out here or stuff them out during a dash. It's just that some characters are not able to do that super easily, especially with someone like Scizor, or Sceptile, obviously. But yeah, if you were able to like change that so you can only do this, these become a lot riskier, but not risky enough, to where you wouldn't want to be able to use them, because these are still really good. Only like Sceptiles, if it wasn't able to be dash cancel like this, or be able to combo right after, it would still be a really good tool, because you could still like be able to like counterattack and then probably mix up with a grab at some point, because those are another good thing. And that brings, actually, wow, I actually forgot to bring that up. Wow, try reacting to this. You can't. That's another reason why the CADC is pretty stupid, because you can also cancel the dash into a grab. Oh my goodness. I feel like being able to cancel dash into grab is fine if you mitigate all the other problems. That's just, at least that's how I think. Thank you everyone who watched the video. Thank you everyone who helped me out in this video on twitter.com. But yeah, hope you see you guys next time. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Always helps out the channel, and I'm so sorry guys, I haven't made another like discussion topic video in a long time, but I kind of finally found a reason to do one, because usually it's hard to think of topics for me, because I'm like, oh, I could do this. I'm like, wait, no, I can't. I'm stupid. But this one was a really big one, and that's kind of why I wanted to do another video talking solely about specific counterattacks that are really dumb. Just because it's fun, and you guys be like, oh yeah, this is stupid, and it helps reinforce what I meant in this video. But yeah, see you guys next time.